Hey guys! If this is your first time to my channel, hello and welcome. My name is Emily and today I am bringing you another spooky Saturday. Now, to anyone who doesn't already know, every single Saturday I do a spooky Saturday here on my channel. I have two very big passions in life. One is makeup and one is paranormal things. So I try to keep this channel mostly makeup, but every Saturday I definitely kind of explore into the paranormal side of things, and I like to tell my own stories and other well-known cases of paranormal stuff happening, and I just really enjoy it. And I know some people who are subscribed to me enjoy it as well, so I definitely like to bring it for not only myself, but for them as well. I think I'm going to start doing one makeup video on Saturday as well, maybe a shorter one, but I think I am going to start doing the two videos on Saturday because I just want everyone to be pleased, and I really love making videos, so it's no sweat off my back. I'm having fun doing it, so I think I'm going to start doing that. But anyway, today we are doing a spooky Saturday. Today's spooky Saturday is going to be on another personal paranormal story. These ones are a little bit smaller, a little bit less interesting, so I decided to just kind of group together a few of them and give you guys a little compilation here of some things that might be paranormal or they might not be. I'm not really sure. It's for you guys to decide, but let's go ahead and get into my first story. So my first paranormal story involves my friend Judy again, who has been in another paranormal storytime video previously, and it involves one of our friends. Let's call him Mason. And that's not their real names, but I'm just using those names as, you know, cover-ups for their actual identities. Judy and I used to go to Mason's house to hang out. We were all friends, and we used to like to play video games together. One game that we were playing a lot was this scary game called Outlast. It's a game where you're basically hiding and running away from these mutant, human, experiment hybrids in a mental institute. It's absolutely terrifying, but really, really fun. And we would go there pretty often to play the game. Now, Mason lived at a house on the bottom of a hill right next to a cemetery. When I say that his house was literally next to the cemetery to the point where you could look in his backyard and see gravestones, that is not an over-exaggeration. You could literally look over his fence and see gravestones from the cemetery being there. So my camera battery died and I am back after what seems like forever, but as I was saying, Mason's house was at the bottom of the hill and the cemetery was right next to it, literally to the point where we could see tombstones from his backyard. The road leading into his house was at the top of a hill, and basically you had to go down the road, down the hill to get to his house. Well, at the top of the hill was the start of the cemetery. So we would always park at the top of the hill next to the cemetery to avoid having to go down the long hill and having to drive out of it or back up out of it. It was practically impossible to back up out of, so we would always park at the top of this cemetery. And it was the middle of the night, so she went up to her car and got in, and before even putting the keys in her ignition, her car door immediately locked, and so she unlocked it thinking, okay, that's creepy as hell, and it locked again. So that's kind of freaking weird if you ask me. So she turned her car on and just zoomed the heck out of there, which is exactly what I would have done. I would have not stuck around to see what the hell was messing with my lock on my car. So she just bolted out of there and called me and told me about it. And her and I were very, very creeped out. So that was one instance where her car locked twice, 2 separate times on her after she unlocked it, and her keys were not in the ignition, so we can go ahead and debunk that. Another thing that happened with cars in that house is that one night me, Judy, Mason, and a couple other friends were all playing Outlast, and we stayed over till really, really early in the morning. It was completely pitch black outside, so we walked back out to my car, and my car doors are wide open. The back 2 doors are completely wide open. Like someone had just left both sides of my car and had not closed the doors. Like they just bolted out and forgot to shut both of the doors. I had gone over to Mason's with Judy and a couple other people, so we had all remembered closing the doors. We closed the doors and locked my car and went inside as per usual. So it does not make any sense at all why we went outside and my doors were completely open, yet my front door was still locked, like I had locked my car. So naturally we were all freaked the hell out, and they all told me to go check what was going on inside the car. Of course. So I had to go over there and take a peek inside and make sure that there was no raccoons or anything, wild or feral in my car, or ghosts or anything like that. And it looked okay. Everything checked out okay, but just the fact that the doors were wide open, but my car was still locked, and we had all closed the doors. All of us remember us closing the doors and locking the car up. And yeah, apparently a ghost there likes to really screw with cars, and that was basically all the paranormal stuff that happened around that house. There really wasn't that much compared to other things that I've talked about on this channel, but I figured I would go ahead and put this in a spooky Saturday anyway, because it's still a paranormal experience, and it was still extremely scary to walk outside and see my car doors wide open, and I know for a fact it was scary for Judy to get into her car and have them lock twice on her. But I'm not going to go ahead and rule out there being ghosts in that area. I definitely think that there was something going on there, especially because there was that super old cemetery with all the people who died from the 1800s there. I definitely think something sketchy was going on. And my next paranormal story time has to do with when I was in China. I went to Taiwan and China for 3 weeks in Taiwan and 1 week in China in 2006. I was essentially an exchange student, if you will, but I just went in a summer camp with a bunch of other kids, and we were over in Asia for a month. On the last week that we were over in Asia, we were in China, specifically Beijing, China, which is the capital. And we were all staying in a 4-star hotel. It was a really nice place, and everything seemed wonderful. I mean, who doesn't love a 4-star hotel? We had to stay in the hotel room with another person from the camp that I was there with, and it was a 2-bedroom hotel room, so there was 2 people per room. And that night when I went to sleep, I had the most bizarre dream of my life. So that night I had a dream that I was underneath a bridge. You know those pillars that hold up the bridge and support everything? That's basically where I was. I don't know where the heck I was, but I was underneath a bridge, like a troll. But he looked like he was from a South American country, maybe even Africa. He had an accent and he dressed in, it looked like South American clothing. So he kept his back turned towards me, and I start to walk up to him. I wanted to see what the heck he was doing there and why the heck we were underneath a bridge. And he all of a sudden whips around as soon as I get up close to him and says, "You have to get out of here. Bad things are going to happen to here. You have to get out of here. Bad things are going to happen." And in my dream, I thought, what the hell? Okay, what's gonna happen? And he said, "You guys are going to die. You need to get out of here. Get out now." So I actually woke up after that happening, or at least I don't remember anything else that happened in the dream. And I thought to myself, that was freaking creepy. Okay, well, apparently we should get out of here. And I had this really, really awful feeling that we should leave. I mean, if you have a dream that someone tells you to get the hell out of where you are, especially if you're in a foreign country, in a foreign bed, in a foreign hotel, somewhere that you're just not familiar with, it's very, very scary to have just a really alarming dream like that. And I'm the kind of person where I pay attention to my dreams, and I think that my dreams mean something. I'm one of those people. But it was just really, really off-putting, so I was really kind of disturbed by it. And that morning when I woke up, I told my roommate, who was also a kid around my age, and she told me that she had an awful dream where someone was telling her to get out. Luckily for us, we only stayed in that hotel for 1 night. I don't know what the reasoning for that was, but we were basically transitioning over from Taiwan to Beijing. So the first night we stayed in that hotel, and then we ended up going to a different housing situation in Beijing after that night. So we only stayed there for 1 night. So I will never know if that was anything. I kind of think that it was, especially because my roommate had a very similar dream in the same place on the same night. If it was just me having the dream, I would think, okay, that's a little weird and a little creepy, but it was probably just a really obscure nightmare of some sorts. But the fact that she had the same freaking dream, you cannot tell me that that does not mean that something sketch is going on in that hotel. So I am very glad that we only stayed there for the 1 night, because I don't want to stick around to see what's going to happen. I'm going to listen to you, foreign man, and I will take your advice and I will get the hell out of here. And you know what? If he was a ghost, then in theory, if anything bad was going to happen, then he was a very helpful ghost and I appreciate him. But I never forgot about that because it was just so strange. And it may have been nothing. We could have just both been having really weird dreams, and maybe we were talking about something before we fell asleep that triggered a dream like that. It literally could be nothing, but it definitely could be something, so I don't know. It's really strange, and I'm never gonna figure it out because I'm never gonna go back to that hotel. I don't even remember what hotel it was. It is long gone and forgotten about, but that dream has not been forgotten about because it still spooks me to this day. Well, that is going to wrap up this week's Spooky Saturday. I know they were really tiny, little, minuscule paranormal experiences, but I still think that they're fun to listen to, and they're true stories. All of that actually happened, and not every paranormal story is, you know, like Paranormal Activity where things are dragging you out of your bed and stuff like that. Some of them are just very, very small things that just do not add up. And I like hearing all sorts of paranormal stories, so I figured I would give this one to you guys. If you guys like Spooky Saturday and you want to see more of it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I also do lots of makeup videos here on this channel, like I stated earlier, so if you're into that type of thing, I have that for you as well. I hope you are having an absolutely amazing day wherever you are, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye!